everyone. I'm excited to share with you what Felicia Ellingsworth's class and I did with Minecraft EDU. We chose to use narrative writing and Minecraft to engage her students in a fantastic lesson. So Felicia, thank you so much for being here with me today. Can you tell us a little bit about what school you're from and your class?
Yeah, sure. I am from Smyrna and I teach third grade. And yeah, we are super excited to use Minecraft.
Yes, and after speaking with Felicia, I learned that her students were, like I said, doing narrative writing. And one thing that she really wanted them to improve on was their figurative language. And we talked about how we could do that, plus engage them with writing and also have them use technology. So Minecraft, we decided, was the perfect fit. And our compelling question for them was, how can figurative language improve our writing? And one thing, when Felicia and I first met together about our co-teaching, we met several times. And one of the first things I showed her was the SAMR model. And many teachers are not aware of the SAMR model. And when you're incorporating technology, it's important for you to look at this and see which one of these levels that your lesson falls under. Are you simply substituting your lesson? So they were writing on paper and all they're doing now is typing it in a Google Doc or Word document? Or are you using augmentation, modification, or redefinition? And we decided that this was pretty close to modification because the students were having a pretty significant task redesign with using Minecraft. So not only were they typing in Minecraft, but they were actually building their narrative in a world in Minecraft. So they were able to redesign what they were doing on paper or on a Google Doc by using Minecraft. The next thing that I want to quickly talk about is our team has read Kathleen Tucker's books, Blended Learning. And if you haven't, her information is at the bottom of this page. I really recommend you checking her out and following her on Twitter. She has wonderful resources, and a lot of them she gives away for free, like this flipped learning, 3-part flipped learning lesson. You can get a copy of it at the bit.ly at the top of the screen, but this just goes through to help you plan your lesson by what activity you're going to do and different questions to help you think about guiding that lesson. So we use this also with our lesson that we did. We chose to use flipped learning. And one thing that Felicia talked about was we didn't want to spend a lot of time with students logging into Minecraft or downloading Minecraft to their Chromebook. So with flipped learning, it is a video that the teacher makes before the lesson. So I made this quick video for the students. It's a 6-minute video, and Felicia's students watched it before she and I taught our co-teach lesson. So that way, students already had Minecraft downloaded. They already were able to log into Minecraft. And also, I gave them some examples of how to go to the inventory to get the different things they were going to need for the lesson. That way, we weren't spending 30 minutes showing them how to do that during our co-teaching lesson. And Felicia, what do you think? Do you think this worked out really well for your students?
Oh my goodness, this was so helpful. With this group, which was mostly made up of girls, actually, some were super familiar with Minecraft. They were experts. Others were brand new. So they needed time to get to know the program, how to even find it on their Chromebook, and what to do once they log in. So it was very helpful to kind of do some front loading and spend some time preparing for this lesson. That way it could be the most successful it could possibly be.
Exactly. And I think this isn't just something you can do virtually. This is absolutely something I did in the classroom when we were face to face. I would give the students a video to watch at home or maybe during a planning time or some other time during the day. And that way, when we did our lesson, they already had some of that front loaded information that we didn't have to spend too much time on. So it's a great thing, just a real quick screencastify, giving them the information that we wanted them to have. Okay, so one other tool that Felicia and I used was a resource from a book, Culturally Responsive Teaching in the Brain. And this is a fantastic read, and I encourage every single teacher to pick up that book and read it, Gail has it for you. So you can go to Gail, the resource Gail, Ask Your Librarian, if you aren't aware of that, and check out this book. One thing that it talks about are these 4 lesson strategies: ignite, chunk, chew, and review. These help us in planning our lesson as well. And really, these should be a staple for all teachers during planning their instruction. So how are you going to ignite their attention? How are you going to draw the kids in and want them to listen to you and learn the content that you're teaching? Well, for us, it was Minecraft. That's an easy one. We said, hey, you're going to get to play Minecraft. And we had their attention from the beginning. And then how are you going to chunk that together to give different examples so they understand? And Felicia's going to talk about that in a moment, what exactly it is they're going to be doing. And then the chew portion is what are they doing? They're going to build their worlds and think about how that writing can be more engaging by going to the inventory and getting different details from the inventory. It gave them ideas to make their writing more engaging. And then we reviewed it by them applying that by building the world and going back and reviewing their writing. So this is a great strategy for you to use also when planning a lesson.
We use the writing C.3.3 standard, which is composing narratives, and reading 3.4, which was incorporating that figurative language piece that we were working on in class.
Yep. And then also we can't forget our technology standards. And in this video at the bottom, you will find a link to this slide deck. And these are all linked up for you. But the technology standards we used was to leverage technology, EL1, and they were communicating with one another, CC1. So you can check out those technology standards. And actually, it gives you a lot of ideas of how you can incorporate technology effectively into your lessons by looking at the standards. All right. One of the most important things we did was before the lesson, we made sure our students understood our expectations. And Felicia always shares this with her kids, but then we reminded them before. And do you want to talk about that?
Yes, our expectations are, as you can see, pretty simple, straight to the point. And because I knew students were going to be in breakout rooms so that they could be in their own space and not distracted by others, I wanted to ensure they knew their expectations ahead of time. That way they were staying on task, they were focused, and that the outcome would be successful for them.
Let's talk about the first draft lesson you did with them.
Yes, so whenever we incorporated the flipped learning video and we had some time, like I said, front loading all that information, I created this simple Jamboard for them just to get some of ideas down on quote unquote paper. So I introduced to them, what Minecraft looks like. I gave them some different little screenshots just so they could get their mind wrapped around, and you can keep going. There's a couple more. Yeah, so they could get their mind wrapped around about what Minecraft looks like. Because they were creating a narrative, they needed a setting for that narrative. So it was important for them to know what their options were and what kind of world they were working with. So here they had just simple, quick directions and some reminders of what they needed to incorporate in their writing. So things like character, setting, plot, and solution to help them have a complete story. And then they just had a couple blank pages after this to get their rough drafts and ideas down on paper. And once they had that flipped learning experience, they just ran with their ideas. So they loved it. So the day we actually did our co-teach lesson, this was our lesson frame. So it was important that we had both a we will and an I will. So we will create a world in Minecraft. We will collaborate to find objects in Minecraft that can be described using figurative language. So that's the piece you spoke about, with them searching through the inventory to find things that they could describe in a fun and engaging way. And lastly, their I will create a world in Minecraft that illustrates my narrative.
Yes, and I think that one of the examples was one of your students. They went to the inventory, and they found something. It was a material that they didn't know what it was.
It might have been terracotta. I'm not quite sure. Yes, and it just caught her eye because it was blue, and she wanted to use it to describe something that was shiny. And so there were tons of options within that inventory. And here's an example of a living room that a student built within Minecraft to illustrate her story. which was pretty cute. She has her little couch there and her TV. So creative. I
Love
love
it.
it.
I love the detail and the door. She has the door. And
Yes.
that inventory really gave an opportunity too for students to find those different words and then research what they meant. They had to go look up like, what does this even mean? Do I want to use it in my story?
Yes. I loved it. So creative. Here's another quick screenshot of just a rough draft. Like we said before, they are going back and doing multiple edits to this, which is super important in general in writing, but the fact that they can do that within Minecraft is amazing. So just a quick example, as you can see, she's mentioning some zombies. So she made sure that her elements of her story matched Minecraft, and she used the book quill within the inventory to write her story.
Yep. So this is an example of what the book and quill looks like. And the students would type and they could go, to the next page. And at the bottom, they had a few options. So there, as an add picture or edit option. But as they went through, we had taught them how to use the camera tool. So they would go and take like a selfie, which is super fun for a third grade or probably any grade, of themselves in front of what they created in Minecraft. And so we let them know, hey, leave a blank page, because once you finish your writing and then you go to build your narrative, you can take a picture and then add those pictures inside your book and quill. So once they take a picture, a little picture pops up down at the bottom that they're then able to add to their story. So that's something important to point out to any viewers that have never used Minecraft before.
Whenever we stumbled upon some work going on in a breakout room, one of my students that was more familiar with Minecraft was using Code Builder to efficiently create her structure of her house. So we came into her breakout room and she already had this pulled up, and we asked her, hey, how do you know how to do this? Oh, no big deal. I just taught myself on YouTube, watch the video. And so she knew how to go in and use the Code Builder to, like I said, build the framework of her house. And then she could go in and edit, and add or take away whatever features that she didn't like.
It was so fun to jump in that breakout room with her and see her doing this and ask her questions. And I spoke to her about how we need more women that are in IT and programming. We don't have enough. And so, if this is something she really likes, and she said she did, I was like, you really need to continue practicing. And this could be something in your future that you could look more into. So she was really excited about that. And that was a fun teaching moment for us.
It was. She taught us something. I love it.
She absolutely did. So as you can probably tell, this is a fantastic example of a JCPS backpack artifact. And Felicia gave her students a choice. They could either use the book and quill, which they could export into a PDF. And so they would just simply upload that PDF to their backpack, or they could do that and do a screen recording of their world and their book and quill. So they had either one of those as a choice or both as a choice. And the students, for the screen recording in that breakout room, they could explain while Felicia was using the record feature on the Meet, because I know for some students, they don't have access to screen recording. So if the Chromebook didn't have it or the iPad didn't have it that they were using, the Google Meet with the teacher is another option for screen recording. So that's an exciting emerging innovator backpack artifact. And then lastly, do you want to quickly talk about how you assess your students with the rubric?
Sure. Going back, thinking about that Jamboard that the students had, some of the expectations of that assignment obviously popped up here in the rubric. So things like writing your story using your book and quill, it need to be at least 3 paragraphs. Since these are third graders, that's something that they can definitely do. Your story should include those different elements like character, setting, plot, and a solution. Create a world on Minecraft that illustrates your story. So not just building something random, but something that actually incorporates the elements of your story and gives a visual for your reader. And then last, adding those examples of figurative language to improve your writing. So again, going back to that inventory on Minecraft, thinking about how they can describe those different elements using figurative language to improve their work.
Absolutely. And I think that they knew the expectations. This was talked about with them before we started. So they knew what they had to do. And that really helped the students as they went through. This was a really fun experience. And Felicia, I'm so glad that you said yes to exploring Minecraft, because I know you weren't familiar with it. And I told you, oh, come on, let's do it. And you just jumped right in. You were fantastic. I can tell that you are a fantastic teacher and that your students really, really enjoy being in your class. So thank you again so much for doing this with me.
Thank you so much.